Alright, I'm doing an update video on these tires. Got 500 miles, a little over 500 miles on them. Still no complaints. Everything's great except for two things. It's not a bad thing. I don't know if you can see it or not. See those rocks in the tire? It holds rocks. You can see one right there. They hold rocks. My driveway's gravel. But that's, I don't hear them slinging out and hitting the bottom side of the truck. I know they're probably slinging out, but they're not like slinging out, and it's not big rocks it's holding. It's little rocks that it's holding. If that's something that may concern you, they do hold rocks. That is something that I have learned. You'll hear them going down the road, click, 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 click. And I got a screw in this tire, and I patched it, had them to patch it. It's holding up, the patch is holding up, but I thought it was a rock. I went to the dump, and I guess that's where I picked the screw up at, was at the dump. But I thought it was a rock going click, 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 and come find out it was a screw. Luckily I saw the screw sticking up, and I started to try to kick it out because I thought it was a rock and realized it was a screw. But one thing I will say, another thing, in the first comment video I said I don't know if they'd be any good in mud. See this trench in the yard right here? This trench in my yard. With the tires that I had on here before, this mud right here, I drove down in my yard. Sorry about the videoing. I drove down in my yard with my other tires in the same path to get to that trailer right there. And they was actually a BF Goodwrench KO2s, I think. They was actually a mud tire. So I didn't even ever have to go into four-wheel drive with those tires. They just drove down in here with no problem and drove out if it was muddy. With these tires, this was probably 3 inches deep, this rut right here was. Once I got backed in, I started to pull back out, and both tires were spinning in the back. It would not move. I had to put it in four-wheel drive, and it crawled right out once I'd done that without even spinning. But they don't do good in mud. I will say that. They do not do good in mud. But for comfortableness and a ride, you just can't beat them. They're quiet. They're, like I said in the first video, I have no complaints other than the rocks, picking up rocks, and they ain't no good in mud. And the sidewalls. The sidewalls, I forgot to mention it in the first video. Before they mounted these tires, I was feeling the sidewalls of a mud tire, and my old mud tires, these sidewalls are really soft. They say they're a 10 ply, but the sidewalls definitely ain't no, the sidewalls are really soft. I don't know what kind of punishment they would take, but I was feeling of them compared to other mud tires and my mud tires that I had on here. And my other tires was really stiff. You couldn't even mash down on them. But with these, before I mounted them, you could actually mash your finger down into it. So the sidewalls are a lot softer. But with that being said, the ride is so smooth. When you hit a bump, you don't feel it. I mean, the softness sidewalls has a cons, and it's got its pros and cons. The ride is immaculate. I've not curbed them. I don't know if they would, if you curbed them, I don't know if they would pop. If you drove over a stump or something, it would probably definitely puncture it, because I do know that they're very soft. I wouldn't off-road these tires. There's no way I'd off-road them. But for street, can't beat them. I just thought I'd update it. And in the rain, they're great in the rain. They perfect in the rain. Wet roads, perfect. the sopping just separates the water and gets it out, and they grip really good and everything in the rain. And I'm assuming in the snow they're going to do really, snow and ice with all the sopping that's in them. I'm assuming snow and ice is going to be really good in it too, because it's a really soft compound for a 50,000 mile tire. We'll have to just see. I'll keep updating on the tires, but so far so good. No complaints other than the rocks. And that's really not a deal breaker to me. Like I said, you really don't hear them sling them out, but I mean, you can see it. They hold rocks, that's for sure. I mean, they're not big rocks, you know. That's right there's. I think that really can't dig it out, but that's. I mean, I don't know if you probably can't even see how big they are, but they're not. It's not too bad, but it could be a deal breaker for other people. Just thought I'd share it. Over and out.